Hey everyone, Clio here and welcome to the start of another reading vlog. It is a Friday and the weekend has just started, but it's going to be a little bit of an interesting one because my plans are up for grabs. I've already cancelled them, but my friends have told me that I don't need to cancel them yet. But yesterday I got tested for COVID-19. So I have been feeling a little bit under the weather for a few days, but I just thought it was my allergies because it was just like sneezing like 3 times a day or something like that, and so it's just like maybe just my allergies flaring up. But then on Wednesday when I woke up I also had a little bit of a sore throat, and then on Thursday when I woke up I had a sore throat, I had a headache, felt like super tired, and so yeah, I contacted the doctor being like, yeah, I think this feeling feels like just a regular cold, but you know, you can't be too safe these days. So he said that I had enough symptoms to get tested for COVID-19, which I can tell you is definitely not enjoyable to get that test done. But so I got tested yesterday and now I'm waiting for the results, because he already told me that this close to the weekend it's usually like more like 48 hours until you find out the results. So yeah, I'm still waiting for my results, and as long as I don't have the results, I'm in quarantine, and then if I were to test positive, of course, I also have to stay in quarantine for a little bit longer. But so yeah, that means that this entire weekend is free now. So it's a free weekend, full weekend of reading. Let's look at the positive side of this. I actually do also have my mother on my way now. Like, she's going to drop off some groceries in front of the door, because timing couldn't be worse, because I usually go grocery shopping on Friday evening or on Saturday, and so yeah, these are the times when I don't know when I'm going to be able to go out anymore, because I'm waiting for the test results. So I sent her a list earlier today and she kindly is bringing them over. But so yeah, it's interesting world we're living in 2020, where I have to ask my mother, can you go do grocery shopping for me because I'm not allowed out, and please put them in cardboard boxes because you are not allowed in, so like make sure that you deliver it in something that you don't need back. Weird times. But so for the rest, I'm still reading a couple of books at the same time, as I've been doing for the past month and a half or something. But I am definitely making quite a dent through the Lord of the Rings, through the Fellowship of the Ring, which I'm reading for the Tolkien along. In September we are reading the first book in this trilogy, which isn't really a trilogy because it was written as one book, but we are reading the Fellowship of the Ring, and I should be finished with that one on Sunday. Should have probably started this update with this news, and I'm gonna put it in front of my other clip, I think. But yeah, my test results came back. I tested negative for COVID-19, so it's just a cold. Doctor told me it's fine, you definitely don't need to do like extra distancing, or you don't need to go into like personal lockdown. You can just follow the rules that we have here in Belgium. It's just a cold. So in the end I did go to see my friends yesterday, and so, but we were distanced very nicely. We went to my friend because we originally wanted to do it here, but my table really isn't big enough to have like 1.5 meters distance between everybody. So we went to another friend who has a bigger table, and so we were able to spread out that way, and then afterwards we just sat outside, also with distance. Hey everyone, Sunday morning, and I am ready to dive into a full day of reading. I woke up in such a reading mood, so hopefully I'll be able to keep that up today. I finished the book last night, and I'm going to briefly try to talk about it, but I've tried to give this update a few times, and that is The Fellowship of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. So I've really been enjoying this reread, and so part of the things that I've been noticing is that it really isn't as dense as I remembered it being, and I don't mind the songs all that much anymore. I think especially the beginning has a whole lot of songs, but like towards the end there really aren't there's just the occasional song. So I remember this as being like chock full of songs and poems, but it really isn't that bad. I think the main problem is that we have such a reference to the movies at this point in time that especially the beginning can feel very slow because it takes a whole lot of time for them to get to Bree, for example. It's really like there's a whole lot extra in the beginning. There's this whole Tom Bombadil part that's been left out, the whole Old Forest part is left out, and so it can definitely feel like you're stuck in the Shire for a very long time and not a whole lot of extra action is added to that part to make it worth it, it seems. And so that's definitely a general thing. There's definitely a different tone and a different pace to the books than there is to the movies, and so if you are ready for that, you can definitely enjoy this one. I think the first time I read it was before the second movie came out, but I don't remember a whole lot of that, and I remember being quite confused when I saw the second movie of like, did I read all of that? And I think I might, part of that reason might be because Peter Jackson filled in a whole lot of the action sequences, because Tolkien, it seems, really doesn't focus a whole lot on the like fight scenes or things like that. So if you're looking for those iconic fight scenes that you know from the movies, then you can be let down with this one, because a lot of times it'll be like, wait, did that just happen in like one sentence? Where so you have this sort of like drawn out action scene within the movies. So I also didn't have that disappointment that I had in my previous reread for this one, of being like, wait, that doesn't happen in the books? Jesus, I love that sequence. And there's actually a lot of shifts happening as well. There's a lot of stuff that happened in here, or information that you're given in this one, that is pushed through the other books, the other movies. Like Gollum's origin story was already in the second chapter of this book, whereas you only get it like in the second or third movie. It is like the opening sequence of one of them. But yeah, I've definitely been enjoying this reread of it, and very much eager to dive into Two Towers, which, as far as I'm aware, has too much Frodo and Sam moments in it, because the movies shift between POV. You don't get all of Sam and Frodo's journey and then all of the rest of the Fellowship's journey. But I think, if I remember correctly, we get the rest of the Fellowship for like, I don't know, the first half of the Two Towers, and then we get Sam and Frodo for the second half. But if you remember Two Towers, Sam and Frodo, Two Towers, Sam and Frodo is basically their journey through the rock maze of Emyn Muil, then their journey through the marshes. So it is quite boring, and definitely that rock part, I think, takes forever within the books. So we'll see what happens when I need to dive into those 200 pages of rock climbing and tumbling through marshes within the books, but I'm hoping that I have the same experience as I had with this one, where I'm pleasantly surprised. But so, today, reading. I only have one book picked out at this moment because I started it last night, and that is The English Patient by Ondaatje. This is a book that has been on my TBR for a very long time. It's been on these shelves for a very long time, and I wanted to read it because it is a Man Booker Prize winner. It also won the Golden Man Booker Prize, but I already had it before that time. So I think in 2018 they chose a Golden Man Booker Prize. So out of the 50 winners until that time, they chose the best one, and they chose this one. But I also watched the movies when I was a teenager, and I really loved that movie, and so I want to dive into that book at some point and see like what my experience is with it. So I would kind of refer to this as a story within a story. It's not necessarily, it's a story told in two time periods. So we're looking at a nurse who's caring for this heavily burned patient in a hospital in Italy during the war. The war is coming ever closer to them. They are more in danger, but because he's so heavily burned, they cannot really move him. And so this burned man was found in the desert next to a burned out plane. He survived, but he was heavily burned. But the story within the story is then going to go looking back to how he ended up being in that burned plane. Love this movie, hopefully we'll also love this book. I started it last night. I think I'm at the point where I'm going to be diving into the story within the story. So, I was just going out for a walk. I have some footage of that you will have seen, and then I was rudely interrupted by the rain. So I was really just like thinking about how nice it was and how I should do it more often. When it was all of a sudden like, what's that sound? It's like, it's rain. Shit. So I got out in time. I mean, it was like pouring quite quickly, but yeah, I didn't damage the book or damage my camera, luckily. But so I have gone like almost 100 pages further into this book today, and I've actually not had to switch over to another read at any point, because I'm finding myself quite engrossed with it, like almost after the chapter that I followed. And even though I thought we were going to go into like the background story of the burned man, but we're really not there yet. So there's a lot more that I'm remembering about this story, and I just find it a very atmospheric read, you know. It's just got that sort of like melancholy vibe to it. It's a beautiful writing style as well, so I've been really enjoying it, and I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm making like a huge headway through it, that my pace is like extremely quickly to it, but I'm also a little bit of a slow reader in any case. But so I haven't felt that sort of need to take breaks. I haven't felt the need to stop it, and it's actually been to my detriment, because I need to edit a video. I'm going to be late for my video today as well, because I just didn't want to put it down. But so that's what I'm going to be doing now. I need to edit my Sunday video, preferably probably as well film another video, because I don't think I have a video lined up for Wednesday, so need to get on that. So yeah, time to stop talking to you guys and get to work. So it is Tuesday evening. Yesterday evening I had physical therapy as always. I finished the book and I edited and filmed the video, so it was quite a good and productive Monday evening. Monday evenings usually aren't as productive because I need to go to physical therapy, and then I feel like I've lost most of the evening just by going there. But so I received a package in the mail today, and so I'm going to be unboxing it for you, because my October Books That Matter box is here already. And I will already say that I was trying not to get spoiled for this one, but yeah, with Instagram stories it's really difficult not to get spoiled if you're like just clicking along and then all of a sudden you get to see something. So I already know the book that's in here, and it's a little bit of a disappointment. Let me say that this is why people usually wait. Like, I can now totally get why people usually wait like until they know which book is going to be in there to confirm whether they want an extra month. I didn't do this. I got a subscription for 6 months at the very beginning. That's my bad. Nothing against Books That Matter in that respect. But yeah, this is a book that I've already read, and it's a book that I didn't like. Now, Books That Matter is a UK subscription box that has books in it that are feminist, books that are impactful, and I will definitely say that I can understand why they chose this book, and there are definitely a whole lot of people who have had a great experience with this book. Me personally, I didn't, however. So let's just open this baby up. And so yeah, as always we have the nice packaging, and the packaging is actually different from last month. So last month it was like a more of a glossy cardboard, and I actually like this one a lot better because it's a lot more durable. It's a lot more of a thick cardboard. So I'm gonna leave the book for last, keeping you a little bit in anticipation there, I guess. But first up, what we have is like some hairbands, some plastic-free hairbands. And I've actually never tried these. I know that a friend of mine swears by them because they're supposedly like they would tangle your hair less. Your hair would get tangled in it a little bit less. And of course, anything plastic-free for me is definitely a perk, because I do try to be environmentally friendly as much as possible. So very useful. I'm also always losing my hair ties. I think I bought a new pack of hair ties somewhere this year, maybe even, and I already am down to 2 because I cannot find all the rest. I don't know where these things disappear to. Must be some hole in the cosmos where all of these hair ties disappear to. And so we also have a face mask on it. It seems to be an eye mask, and like the instructions on the back are quite funny. This little pouch contains a self-heating eye mask which will transport you to another dimension, relieving tiredness, eye strain, and many other earthly tensions. The warmth comes alive as soon as you open it, so make sure you're fully reclined and ready for liftoff. So we'll be interested to see what that experience is going to be like. A self-heating eye mask, that can either be great or I'm going to be super irritated with that, but I'm expecting it to be great. I like a face mask and I don't often have them, so it'll be nice to have one for once. And then we have our first clue as to what this book is going to be. There's a bookmark, and I absolutely love this bookmark. It's already worth it for these few items that are in there, but beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful, which is a quote from Mary Shelley from the book Frankenstein. And at the back we also have one. We are the granddaughters of the witches they couldn't burn. So love myself some bookmarks, and I'm really extending my collection quite a bit since like in the last year. Then we have the leaflet that comes with this book box. So the theme of this book box is Season of the Witch. And so I like that with this book box you really get a sort of leaflet that runs through everything that is in there. I don't know what this refers to in terms of the content of this box, but so you get like an interview, for example, with some of the creators of some of the items in there. You get an interview with the author sometimes as well. I don't know whether that was particular to last month's box or not. You get a little bit more info about the things that are in your box that way. And then I am very happy with this one. This is going to be very handy, and that's probably what that page was about. But so we have a weekend, and so we have a wellness planner. I don't know necessarily whether I'm going to use it for wellness, but I might as well do it. So it's got like the things you need to do in the week, some reflection on the way that your week has gone, or things that you can do to improve your wellness, and some personal goals and a mantra that you can put. So it's a very nice little booklet, and so yeah, happy with that. So all in all, of course, I'm still relatively happy with this one, but of course I would have been happier if the book was a book that I still got to use, because of course it's a little bit expensive now for these items, considering the fact that I'm not going to keep this book. But yeah, obviously that's on me. I just wanted to sort of like surprise element, and I'm liking that surprise elements for the majority. But yeah, the book that I'm getting, and it's also, I love this cover, you know, but I'm not keeping this book because I definitely didn't enjoy it. So the book is Frankenstein by Jeanette Winterson, which obviously is a Frankenstein retelling. So this is a book in which we are following mainly two timelines. So we have the Mary Shelley timeline, so in which we are looking at the time in which Mary Shelley was writing Frankenstein. Loved the style that was used throughout those parts of the books, and so those are definitely the ones that I enjoyed the most. In the second timeline we are like somewhere in our future, not too remote future, but there's already a lot more progress with AI than there is now. And then in the like future timeline we are following a transgender woman called Rye, who is in love with a doctor called Victor Stein. However, that second part really didn't work for me. First of all, there's this whole like section surrounding like sex bots, because there's this mention of a sort of business that wants to expand sex bots, and that was just like, it started out being a little bit funny, but then it was just like a little bit like pointless to me, and I didn't really see why that was getting included, and not a whole lot seems to be happening with that concept neither. And then I remember disliking the way it all wrapped up in the ending. What I did like about the sort of retelling aspect of that future timeline is the way in which they are reinterpreting the monster. So this Victor Stein is kind of trying to put human consciousness into an artificial intelligence machine, into a robot. And so it's kind of looking at the creation of a new type of monster, an AI that has the soul of a human being in it. And so it's once again looking at that thematic that is very powerful within Frankenstein, of looking at the border of like how far can science go, and these sort of like ethical questions that can be involved with scientific discovery. So it is probably also one that I just resent a little bit, because I was very eagerly anticipating this one, and I was very intrigued with that concept, and so I really wanted to like this one, but it just really didn't work for me. And I can remember that one of the reasons why I didn't like Frankenstein was because I felt like in that future time part, mostly, I think it was okay in the Mary Shelley part, but in that future time period, there isn't any sort of depth given to the characters. Characters are just these sort of empty shells that are there to serve as a sort of like background and sort of puppets in order to address this sort of concept of the modern day monster of science, rather than that they actually are fleshed out and beings that are given emotions, that are given a reality, a history. And so especially if you're going to include transgender representation, I would very much like you to give a little bit more depth to that character, because I have seen some people say that, you know, the transgender representation isn't handled well, and I definitely second that, but I definitely think that none of the representation in that second part is handled well, and that's probably intentional. I think that's probably where she was going for, but that's not really something that I like to see. Character work is really like one of the most important aspects to a novel for my enjoyment, and so with these like futuristic parts, I really wasn't getting much out of it. That is then balanced out by the Mary Shelley parts, which definitely do have a much better layering to it in terms of character work. However, it wasn't enough to save this book for me. So with this one, I also had quite a disjointed experience where I felt like they were just like two books that are linked through the figure of Mary Shelley, but that isn't enough to save it. And so yeah, Jeanette Winterson is definitely also known for having a little bit more of an experimental writing style, and so that can sometimes be a hit, but it can also be a miss, and for this one, for me personally, it was. Hey guys, it is Wednesday evening and I'm about to wrap up this vlog because I think this vlog has lasted long enough, so might as well end it here. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one. I think it had a little bit too much book updates in it, so definitely let me know what you think about that. You know, I think I spend too much time sometimes in my vlogs just talking to you guys about my updates for the books rather than just showing you what I'm doing. But let's face it, I'm not actually doing a whole lot with my spare time, so in that sense, yeah, what else can I show you? But I've actually enjoyed it. I think I liked my vlogs a little bit more in the beginning when I was doing them, when they were like, you know, I think I like my vlogs just a little bit more when they were a little bit shorter than they are now. But definitely let me know down below what you guys think of my vlogs, whether they should be shorter, have less book updates, for example, or you know, just any sort of things, the things that you like about the vlogs, the things that you think I could leave out so that I could improve them for future. But so yeah, see you guys for the next one and happy reading!